Hello and welcome to Twist List. Today we are looking at 10 amazing examples of ancient construction. We look at skyscrapers and dams and see them as pinnacles of human engineering, content in the fact we can build whatever we want. However, we often fail to remember the technological marvels of ancient history, buildings or temples which seemed impossible to construct by primitive cultures. Here are 10 hopefully lesser-known examples of amazing ancient construction. The fifth spot on the list is occupied by Egypt. Dating from around 2000 BC, the Dolmen of Menga is a large burial ground known as a tumulus and is located in the southern tip of Spain. A number of chambers were created by placing a large number of extremely heavy stones next to each other. The walls, the roof, which is made up of 4 individual pieces, and the pillars are made of the same rocks. As far as the name is concerned, legend says that a leper named Menga took refuge inside the dolmen after her husband died. Archaeologists believe the dolmen to be the largest such structure in Europe and have found several hundred distinct skeletons inside it, possibly all belonging to the ruling groups of the culture. However, the identity of the builders remains a mystery to this day. This site, along with 2 sister ones, was placed on the UNESCO World Heritage List on July 15, 2016. Number 4 on the list is Pompey's Pillar. Built and completed by the Maya sometime between AD 200 and 800, Quirigua contains exemplary examples of Mayan architecture as well as one of the largest stelae, carved stone monuments, in existence. Stelae weighs in at an astonishing 65 tons. Stelae were commonly built to commemorate the passage of time or otherwise important events. Frederick Catherwood, an English architect, was the first European to see Quirigua, and a number of excavations have taken place since then. Aldous Huxley once visited the ruins and wrote of the stelae that they commemorated man's triumph over time and matter and the triumph of time and matter over man. Quirigua went into decline around AD 900, probably due to the loss of the jade trade. At the third place we have 5. Translated as Sargon's Fortress or Fort Sargon, Dur Sharukin was built by the Assyrians sometime between 717 and 707 BC and stands in the northern part of Iraq. The city was nearly 2.6 square kilometers, 1 mi2, in area and contained a temple to Nabu, a vegetation god, as well as a royal palace. However, the most interesting artifact recovered from the ruins is the Assyrian Bull, a work of stone estimated to weigh nearly 40 tons. It is the largest example of a bull, winged or otherwise, in human history. Dur Sharukin was first excavated by French consul Paul-Émile Botta in 1843. Subsequent expeditions have uncovered a number of new discoveries. The city itself was deserted shortly after construction was completed because King Sargon II was killed in battle. At the second spot is Spain. Located in Malta, Hagar Qum is believed to have been built by an unknown culture between 3200 and 2500 BC. This culture said to have been wiped out as a result of famine or natural disaster and has left few identifying details. Said to be one of the earliest examples of religious beliefs, the temple at Hagar Qum contains a number of fertility goddess statues known as Venuses, some of which are now on display in the National Museum of Archaeology in Valletta. Hagar Qum was built hundreds of years earlier than Stonehenge. And finally, at number 1, Quirigua. The prehistoric capital of the Tihuanaco people, the city of Tihuanaco is located on the shore of Lake Titicaca in Bolivia. Originally a small village, the city later flourished between AD 400 and 900, becoming home to a number of the largest stone structures in South America. The city was deserted around AD 1000, most likely due to floods. The Inca eventually conquered the Tihuanaco civilization, although their mythology eventually included the city, as it was believed to be the origin point of mankind. Over 1 million people could have lived inside Tihuanaco. It was left abandoned until 1876, when U.S. archaeologist Ephraim George Squire rediscovered it. In 2000, it was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
At the third place we have Operation Focus. Another amazing raid conducted by mosquito bombers was Operation Jericho, the attack on Amiens prison. The Nazi prison was known to hold 700 Allied aviators and French resistance operatives. The prison had high walls and guard shacks, which made it impossible to attack from the ground. Bombers were the only option. But since there were prisoners inside, the bombers couldn't simply blow up the buildings. Military engineers developed precision bombs that could be dropped from low altitude and use delayed charges to blow up the walls of the prison without killing the inmates. In theory, the destroyed walls would allow prisoners to escape out into the countryside. With the operation planned for February 1944, the mission planners had to wait for the winter weather to clear up. Day after day passed of bad weather until the February 18th, when they decided to launch the strike regardless of the weather. 18 mosquitoes took off into terrible weather, at the second which forced some members of the strike force to turn mosquito raid of Berlin. However, enough made it to the valley was heavily industrialized during the war. Some mosquitoes dropped bombs on the country's war-making ability, while others used there were several large dams that provided hydroelectric power only 15 meters. British planners knew that they needed to come up with a way to destroy the dams, but they realized that traditional bombing raids would take a huge amount of bombers and would be extremely dangerous for caught in the explosion. Engineer Barnes Wallace had a different idea. Many prisoners Wallace developed a strange bouncing bomb. This cylindrical bomb was spun right before being dropped by whether the prisoners were actually in danger while in the prison impacted the resourcefulness of the attack. It would bounce on the water, still crash into the dam, and then sink to the river barely above the ground would explode. And walls is pretty impressive. The bomb would avoid the anti-torpedo nets defending the dams and cause maximum damage by hitting their bases. To make it work, the Lancaster crews would need to fly extremely low to drop the oil fields at the right time. Wallace developed a special targeting device shaped like oil production. The bombardier would look down knew that taking the oil fields out would significantly cripple the axis of war effort with the towers on the dam. So they hatched a plan in 1943 for the United States Ninth Air Force to conduct a daring mission to destroy the field how high he was. The only problem was that spotlights touched on the ground. One of the best air defense grades at a height of 18 meters. Mission planners realized that the bombers would have to fly at extremely low altitude to get under the radar coverage, bombers from the number 617 countless anti-aircraft to conduct the oil fields. From the beginning, the raid was incredibly Americans were willing to avoid radar and they committed 178 bombers over the English Channel and over the European strike up to that time. The force split into two attack waves to hit the Liberator bombers, but they began to lose planes to heavy bombers designed for high altitude before they even reached the target. Flying from Benghazi, nevertheless, most of the planes made its waves to their flying runs first. Flying just over the plan was for all out to attack at the same time. 670 squadrons successfully launched two dams during the attack, almost causing Columbus people on the ground died in the attack. The pilots mostly wrong power settings for their engines and fell. 8 of the 19 aircraft did the return to strike force became another legend in number 617 squadron was exasperated by navigational issues. According to one legend, an Irish monk called Saint Brendan set out on an expedition to find paradise and after 7 years discovered an island that was so large that even after 5 days could not number one far shore. The monks returned home with Saint Patrick. This voyage was said to be undertaken in Ricketts well known for being located much earlier by many of Halliday's discoveries of American world. Each is the excuse of incredibly this legend has however proved Saint Patrick, despite popular belief, was not actually Irish. But many had to find alternate bases or try to seek sanctuary in neutral Turkey.
Legend says he was kidnapped and taken as a slave to the Emerald Isle where he helped herd sheep.
310 airmen died,
even more
and 108
interesting
were
is a
taken
recent
prisoner.
study performed by Cambridge
the oil
University
fields were
that
back at normal
suggests a
production
completely
capacity.
different take on the
mission
popular
was a
legend.
failure, but it was the
According to the
most
study,
insane raid
he may
conducted by
actually
the
have gone
United
to
States
Ireland
during
of
World
his own
War
accord
II.
and sold slaves himself so that he wouldn't have to be drafted into a job as a tax collector for the Romans.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, then please hit the subscribe button.